Welcome to another Disrupt Now podcast season 2, New Earth Magic episode. One of the themes in this conversation today, and I'll introduce my guest, this concept of not playing victim in general, but on a bigger scale, not playing victim to society. But there are many things that have been put out into society that tells us to do things. And these things that we're being told to do not only are dangerous, but they're absolutely asinine. And it's not how natural healing works. It's not how the body actually needs to work. It's not the way this world actually is. So this victim-victimizer programming has been running for thousands of years. To break free from that is true disruption, because you are breaking up and out of a program that keeps you in a victim state, which means that you're not operating in your true power. These are some of the conversations and things that we're going to get in today. My guest today is Linn Rivers. I'm very excited because when we connected, we very much match on an energy of things need to change. And when we change ourselves, when we are truly a reflection of the very thing we want to see in the world, that truly does make change happen. So Linn has had a very tumultuous journey in which we'll go over. However, it's this constant reminder of turning traumatic events into these transformational experiences. And Linn has an educational background in holistic and functional medicine and many other practices that help her be a positive reflection for others and a guide to help people learn about their body in more meaningful ways and overcoming chronic health conditions. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did, and let us know by dropping reviews to hear your feedback.
I just had this fear of living because all of my family, the second that they were happy and living a really awesome life, that's when they tend to. And so I equated love equals fear and happiness equals. So I was literally locked into a lot of traumatic patterns, and I carried those forth, and I did not great things with my life. I couldn't hold a job. My friendships were toxic very early on. And I was just living a really fearful existence. And the illness really got extreme in my 20s, where I had 2 near-death experiences. One was at the same time that my partner was diagnosed with colon cancer and ended up. And I had a near-death experience that was really profound and beautiful, but then it still progressed. And then the last big thing was my dad, and then my appendix ruptured, and then I got COVID, and then my ankle broke. So all of these things broke my body down. Feel how you feel, even if other people don't believe it. If it's for a progression, if it's positive movement forward, keep going with that trajectory. It's when you start fitting into the fear and the blame games and everything that you really need to stop and ask yourself, why am I blaming other people for what's happening in my life? And that's where the change starts.
Saying no is really the most powerful thing that we can say when we know it's not for our highest good.
It is one of the most beautiful words that you can use. And I think that's why we have so many people pleasers in this society, and people who just keep following these games and these victims because they don't know how to say, no, I don't want to listen to this anymore. No, I'm not putting up with this anymore. And it's just like when you can take that word and you can turn it around and say, you know what? No, thanks. I'm good. Like that can change your life. I create my reality. No one's in charge of what I do in this life.
Yeah, that's it. But this is the cosmic medicine also. What this is all about is, that whole saying, know thyself. Know where you stream from. That's what I really talk about in a lot of the work, because when you know where you stream from, everything makes more sense. This is the reason why I say cosmic wanderers, indigos, star seeds, wanderers in general. We come in and we're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
or what is this?
It's disorienting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's disorienting. Often we don't want to be in our bodies.
If I knew then what I know now, I'd be able to save all my family. So I attracted people who needed me. I attracted people who I could help. And so it was the first time that I chose myself. And I remember laying there because she had to go back and be with her family. I was really sick and I didn't have anyone to help me. It was me. And so I remember reaching the point of just this extreme peace, the most peace I could ever explain. It's just so beautiful. And my dogs, who weren't allowed in my room at the time, they came in and they laid right beside me. And the only reason I didn't want to at that point was for them. I was like, my thought process was, who's going to know about them? Who's going to come and take care of them? No one would have known. But in that moment, even that didn't matter to me. I knew that it was going to be okay if I let go. And I did. And I let go. And it was like the most amazing sense of peace I could ever explain. And I think that's what people hope to find here on earth, right? This like immense peace. And it's just nothing I've obviously ever experienced at that point. And I had these guides rush in and they stopped me and they're like, you can't come yet. Like, you can't be here. You need to go back. I was laying there and I was like, man, like I've been trying to escape this life for so long. And it's time for me to put both feet here and do what I came here to do. I need to live my life. And so I jumped into functional medicine and I progressed in my nutrition world and all of the modalities that I utilize. And I figured out how to heal my body. And I started sharing it with other people. And it's not just one way, it's mind, body, and spirit. You have to look at all of these from every single different perspective in order to heal. And that's what I do now. I help people heal from chronic conditions and mental health disorders from the root cause. People think there's this one place that we all come from. The reality is I'm from a different planet. You want to talk about aliens? We are here. We're from other planets and we're aiding this existence, right?
Yeah.
And I got to go home to my home planet. And I'm on this spaceship, which is really cool because I always had this thing with spaceships in this capacity of when my mom died and I was 15 years old and I was looking out the window and I was just like in this space of, at 15, I couldn't understand why I was in this such a place of calm. And all of a sudden I see this spaceship come down to eyesight level for me. And I hear my mom said, I'm home. It's okay. I'm safe. And she and I are from the same origin. And I didn't know that till much later, till I had my experience. What do I want for myself? That's all that matters. And people can say that that's selfish, but the reality is me doing what I love for myself is going to help everyone else. The more money I make, the more people I can help by giving them jobs. All of these different things. I think people have this idea that you shouldn't do things for the money, but making money is also a beautiful tool in this life. And you can help a lot of people by doing it if you do it in a way that's conducive. And so it's just like there's all of these shoulds and shouldn'ts in this world. And everyone's always labeling everything where if you just do something from heart, you're going to be successful. It's going to ripple. It's going to ripple in so many different ways. It's going to be energetic. It's going to be physical. It's going to be through monetary means. It's going to have all of these different beautiful implications. And I was that person. I did see myself go through that where I took myself down by thinking I should be doing XYZ. When we talk about ancestral diets, I think that's one thing that I wish people would understand, that we ate that way for a reason, right? And a lot of the things that I actually teach on, and in the course that I'm even creating, I go into the fact that a lot of people look at plants as being like the main foods that we should be eating. But the reality is plants have these compounds that are their protective mechanisms, and they're actually neurotoxins. And a lot of these neurotoxins can't actually be broken down through our systems, our eating. But what does break them down are animals, cows, chickens, all these things. There's so many things that we've been taught. This is what healthy means. And it's just not. People were way more healthy when they were eating a meat and potato diet back in the day on farms. Like those people were in shape and they lived into their 90s and their hundreds. They were farming their own meat and they were doing their own slaughter and all of these things. And the reality is where we came from, we hunted. If you've never encountered a wild cow, you better hope you have a spear or something to take it out, because those things are scary. I encountered one and I had to run, like I was running for my life, right? And it's just like, we don't understand that just because we created this structure where animals are now farmed, that's not how it was done. The more I enjoy my life, the more I emanate this healing energy. And I think people think that they're supposed to do this one thing, like, oh no, I'm supposed to be a doctor. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be that. And I did that for myself in matters of the healing world, right? Like I thought that I had to do this kind of healing and it had to look this way. And the reality is, when I do my photography, if I'm doing it from a place of heart, that is healing. That is producing this vibration that reaches far beyond what I could possibly do if I'm doing functional medicine, for example, from a place of, oh, well, I feel like I should be doing this, right? That's not going to produce the energy that's actually going to be healing for people. And so when you do what you love, that energy is so healing that it literally, it's part of the healing of the external, right? Because you're passing that on to other people. You're showing other people what it means to live authentically and to do what you love. It's when you stifle that, everything just, it starts closing down, and
Yes.
you just come off like this rock, like you're not vibrating this imminent beautiful energies.